Okay, started the recording. Now I'm going to share the screen. Okay, yesterday we talked about that flow and we have some points remaining on the flow. So let's have a look on that, how the other things are working. Just like we haven't talked about how to update an existing records. We have talked about how to create a record, how to get record, and we don't haven't talked about that how to update a record. So we are going to do that. So first, let me log in into my. Now I'm going to use the record trigger flow. I'm not not squeezing the screen flow. I'm just using the record trigger flow to update a record, to demonstrate the updated record. It's not easy. It's just a flow. I'm just demonstrating to triggering to somewhere else. So just like that. It's asking for the layout. You can choose any of the layout. Okay. Now here it is the thing is that means the record is created, the record is updated, the record is created or updated, the record is created. You are familiar with this type of event when the record is created or when the record is edited or when the record is updated, means both condition in the same, and the when the record is deleted. Yeah. So let me go back to my book management system so I can do something. I'm going to make this this book as a lookup so that I can uh, do functionality on the update. Whenever the book is updated, these all things are got updated. So something like that. So when I'm going to make it this for as an example, I'm just going to make it convert is as a lookup. For the conversion of master detail to lookup, we just have to go to open the field and click here, edit. And then I just change it from field data type to lookup. How I make it at wrong place. Should have to make the book and it's sorry. This one I have to make it. I have to make the book. Okay, so now I have a flexibility so that I can edit this record and choose any other book. So what is currently happening, if I choose, if I come up here and choose any different book, let's say, why it's not letting me. I think our process builder is not working. Hmm, what happened to this? We have achieved this via from here. Suppose I'm creating a record from here and added the quantity 5 and then hit next. What does it do? It will create a record related to this, and when I come up here, it's to the calculation. Yeah, it's to the calculation. But when I come up here and update to some other and hit the save, then it will not do the calculation for the total amount. So my requirement is that whenever someone has changed that book name, so all the calculation will be recalculated. For that, what will you do? I'm just going to design the flow for that situation. We can also do that the same thing via process builder, but I'm just demonstrating to how to use a flow in case of update. So I'm just going to come up here and freeform layout. Now I will change it to when the record is updated. And since it's updating the self record means, so I will run the before the record is saved, it will do the calculation and save it into the record. Now there is a small concept over up here. You should know that this is the events in which the trigger will follow. Means these are the events as the record is updated or created or deleted. These are the three events in which is the database event and in which the trigger will follow. The concept is that this one, why we use before record is saved and after record is saved. It's because that whenever we have a make changes on the self objects, matlab means uh, suppose since we are updating since what are with the since I am changing on this record and the updation is also made on the self object means the self record means the record which is comes into this means the record on which we are updating, it is also the same record on which we are making changes. So since we are making changes on the self record, so we will use the before the record is saved. And whenever we have a requirement that suppose on changing of this, I want to update its parent or its child record, means not on the this self record, any record apart from the self record, then we will use the after trigger after record is saved. So let's before record is saved. Okay, now I have to choose the object. Object is selling. Sorry, book selling. Selling. Now it asks for what should I do. So I will make it.
This after part, can you explain it again?
Yeah, you are familiar with this. Means everyone is familiar with. So this is the database event. Means when the record is created, updated, or deleted in the database, then the trigger will follow. But the issue is that when we have to choose the before the record is saved and after the record is, that is the important thing that we need to configure in this trigger. So before the record save, we choose this option only when we have to update or make changes in the record, update the record, which is the self record. Self record means that uh, since I make changes in this record, and after the I have to also I make changes in this, means whenever the book is changed, our trigger will fire. That's okay, we are familiar with that. But when the trigger, when the flow will process, after the processing, it will update the total amount. The total amount, it will means it will capture the rate and multiply with the quantity and update the total amount field. So since it is also updating the same record, means it is also updating the selling record. The record which is from which we started the process, it's after the end of the process, it is also updating the same record. So that's why we at this moment we will choose the before trigger, before the record is saved. And
So,
whenever we have such kind of requirement that uh, we started the process with some other record, so we started the process with this record, and at the end of the flow we are updating some different record.
hmm.
So that moment we will choose the after.
So whenever customer clicks cancel on that one, because before record is saved, like whenever you change it, like drones, it's gonna calculate, and if customer doesn't want to keep these changes, if they click cancel, this amount won't be saved because you didn't
Hmm.
save anything, any changes in here. So it makes sense. If it is in the same table, uh, it it doesn't need to be depend on after save, because the latest version you want to keep will be after the save, I guess. Like, why don't we use after save? What is the problem with after save for all
Uh,
everything?
I don't see the problem, but actually it's a transaction thing. Means at that time it will do two transaction.
You may
First,
not
it will
see the
save the
changes.
record. Yeah, first it will save the record, then Flow will also save the same record.
Hmm. So you
So
cannot
that's
see the changes reflected before you click save. Maybe because of that. Okay.
no, not not because of that.
Like if you
Actually,
choose this after record is saved, like whenever user is uh, changing bookstore, it won't calculate before you click the save.
no. It will also calculate before. It will whenever we click hit on the save, then the calculation will start. Before that, we can't see any changes over up here.
Uh,
In
even
any of the case, in any of the case.
okay, in any of case we won't see. Okay.
In any of the case we can't see, but the thing is that actually when we use the after record to save, there will two dml situation will comes at the same time, because once the record is saved and then our flow will execute and it will again save the same record. So so database commit comes twice, so that's why. So
Okay.
we make interaction with the database dml operation twice, so that's not a good uh, way of working. That is not a good way of working. So that's why, means we are doing the two save at the same transaction. So that's why, means first the record, first we save and then we save again. That's why. Okay, so That's the thing that means before usually we just choose that means this is only due to that to have a best practices means it's not about the rule. It's a have a best practices because the DML means we are saving on the we are updating the database twice if we choose this and we are working on the same object. So that's why we are using choice but twice for the same record we are doing two DML operation two DML operation. But in this, since the record is not going to save, it's still not saved. We are just before the saving we are just making the calculation. That's the thing.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, now we're choosing the selling book. We are not using. Okay, book will not equal to null, and it will. And I will choose that when every time the record is updated and meets the condition instead of the only when the record is updated and meets the condition. So there is a difference that every time record is updated means if you make any changes on that record, if you make any changes in that record, it will trigger that it will trigger this flow. And only when when a record is updated, when I choose it, so whenever the book field got updated, then it will be executed. It's quite similar to that workflow. It's the same thing as we have learned every time updated and meets the criteria, and second is that every time it's updated. So both are the same thing, is but the difference is that it will execute when any of the record changes, means any of the field value, means if quantity is changed, then also it will do the uh, calculation. Yeah. And so I think we have also the same thing, means whenever the book is changing or quantity is changing, we will do the calculation. So let's do it in the same way. Okay, then we have a get records. Okay, because we need to get the price of the, so get price from book, object is book, and whose I will querying the ID is equals to our selling record dot book underscore c. Yeah. So dollar record is the record which is coming up from the in this process, and I'm choosing that whose book ID is equal to, I'm querying a book record by matching this both a condition, means by matching that the record which is come into this process, I'm taking the book ID from that record, and I'm matching to a database to whose record will match to that ID which I got from that my current process of record. After that, the same is this means we just keep these are the same, means getting a record means we are just getting the record automatically stored. Okay, it will get the record. Now what it will do that it will do where is my formula? I need to create a formula so that I will calculate the amount. So I will show total amount. I calculate the total amount. It will be currency, two decimal places. What I choose? I think I haven't choose the.
You are choosing variable. You have to choose formula. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I'm thinking that why the option is not available.
Yeah.
Local currency. Now I'm from the record. I will get the my quantity. Where is my quantity? Yeah, get the quantity, and then I do the multiplication with the record that I find from the uh, book, which is queried. I just queried, and I got the total price. Where is the total price? Yeah, book price. And then I hit the done. It's to the calculation. Now I need to do the assignment. Mm, total amount. It will do total amount equals to the amount that I calculated, which is total amount as a formula field, and I hit the done, and I match this one. So what it will be do that it will, whenever the record is updated, this trigger will fire, this flow will fire, this flow will fire. It will get the price from the book and put that price into the total amount and just do the our calculation. So I hit the save. Flow name is update total amount to selling. Okay. Let's do a debug. Sorry, it's not a, let's do activate. Just leave it activated. So I'm just going to make changes over up here, and yeah, you can see the amount get calculating whenever I make changes. Harry Potter, yeah, total amount is calculating. Let's also check its amount is working. Yeah, now for this way, because we are making update, so it is happening in this way. Whenever we are making update, it will just it will execute our flow, and as a result of that flow, the calculation will goes on. So it's a quite simple example that how the record trigger flow will execute. Means since since we have an record trigger for schedule trigger platform event and auto launch trigger are flowing trigger. So this is the way that how the record trigger is uh, executing. Means we just have to capture the event, and when the capture the event and capture the object and perform our logic. Since it's a before trigger, so that's why you haven't see that update anything or anything over up here, because it's working on the self. Whenever you have to work on the self object, means output will also be on a self record. So we haven't seen that update, because it's not a good practice that we are doing the update in the after events, self object update in the after event. So it's not a good, and so after the record is saved, it's not a good thing. Oh, sorry. Yeah. So yeah, so these are the events. This is only we have to capture when whatever be the changes we are making. It will happen means when the flow enters with a record, means whenever we make changes on the record, and after the flow completes its process, at that process we are making changes in the self record. So we are using the before event, and if we are making changes in a different object, so at that time we will choose the after the record is saved. Okay. Yeah, if you choose the after, the it's similar. If you choose the after, you can see all the options are available up here. So that's the quite difference in that thing. And now Let's do some more example. This way we are editing the yeah, one more thing, the auto launch flow. But other things are the same, means I don't want to. If you execute this one, I just take a quick look, and so that you can, yeah, in this we just have to, when we have to start, we just give the start time or start date or start time, and either we have to run this flow, when we have to run this flow really daily, means only one time or daily or weekly, we just schedule it, and on which object we have to work on, and the rest part is always same. Rest whatever be the action will perform, it will be same as we are doing. The thing is that when we are the difference is that we are just scheduling the flow to run at a particular time, nothing more, nothing less. We are just scheduling the flow to run at a particular time, and whenever that times comes, that flow will trigger and execute whatever be the design. Suppose I design something like this way, so it will at that time it will design that thing. So it is usually happen when we have a suppose we need to send an email to all of the employees to at a particular time, that at a particular time that it will send that email to all of the employees that hey, we are going to suppose we have a Christmas day invitation email, we need to send that. So we will just schedule a flow, and that flow will send the email to all of the person. Let's do that thing. This is simple. So I'm just scheduling a flow at the midnight once on 25th of December, or just there is no option for yearly, so it's once daily or weekly. That's the limitation. Might be in the future release they will come with that option too. So I'm just doing that this one, and I will choose that our employee object. Okay, and let's have a look at the employee object. So I will, that's employee management. There is no field called email, but yeah, we can use this one. So I will choose that first, since we need to capture all of the records. So I will choose does not equals to null. Okay, so it will capture all of the records in the same event. Now I can do the action. In the action, I had to send an email. So I will choose that send email. In that, I will design the label, API name, same, the body, subject, email addresses. So email addresses should come up from that our employee record. So for that, we need to use the loop. Yeah. Let me store it. Once employee records, condition one is applied, and then Then I need to store that record like this. It's not sending the. Okay. Actually, it's come a single record at a time, so we don't use the loop. We just use the action directly. So what we will do that sad Christmas. Okay, that's the issue. I need to create a email type field over up here. So that's after that it will get. So I'm not using the, I'm going to use the contact record because the contact have the email type field. That username is a formula type. That's why it's not capturing. It should have the email type field. So instead of using this, I will use the contact. I will send and in that I will choose email does not equal to none. Means all the records who don't have or who have emails will come up here. And what I will do, I will just send an email to that person. Send email, and then I will choose it's not We can't use this one because it's required a list of email addresses, and we don't have any list, so that's why can't use this one. We will use this one. It is an option that we can add comma and then add another something comma separated value. So it's one by one. I will just go and schedule up here, and I will just join it and save it. Because the no user email addresses cannot be. Okay, that's the different thing. Means actually we haven't. Whenever flow generate an error, whenever flow generate an error, it should have to send a notification to some person. So that's a warning for that, because we haven't set up that automated process user. So that's why it's calling an issue. Okay, we just need to set up a user so that it will work on the basis of that. So that's the thing that it will, what it will do, it will come up here and it will do, means for each record, it will run that flow one by one. One by one, it will run that flow and execute our action that is to send an email notification to this person. We can't, means we had a schedule it for 25th, so it will run at 25th. So only this way, means this is the way that how we are achieve this one. Again, I think it will throw an error. Automatic process is certificate. Outside of that, why it's not used? Oh. First, yeah, I have also done. Yeah, there is an as I told you that there is an OWD setting, means OWE, organization wide addresses. Whenever we have an option that from addresses, you remember we have a from addresses whenever we are sending an email. So if you want to send an email from via for if you want to send the from addresses to some of the username, So at that time, we will set up the organization wallet addresses. In this, we add an email addresses and use that email address to anywhere when we are sending an email. So I'm just copying that email to set my automated process user so that it will accept it, and this flow did not generate any issue. Yeah, now it's not showing any issue. We can activate it, and it is whenever times come, it will execute that thing. So we have another. Platform event. Before that, uh, let's take a look at what is platform events. As I previously told, that platform events are the events that we generally use to trigger a broadcast message to everyone. So whoever subscribe that message, he will get the notification about the event. Event can be anything. It can be means it's just a notification thing. Means it's not only when the record is updated, created, or deleted. It can be anything. Suppose I was working on a some page, and I just want to notify that information to each of the and to anyone. Means I just, it actually just kind of thing that it was broadcasting a message, and whoever subscribe that, who is a subscriber up to that message, gets a notification. So generally we are using the platform events whenever the record is updating. uh, we will send that platform notification to any third party service, to any legacy system. Not usually, we are not using the platform event inside the Salesforce. It's a very rare use, but mostly the platform events are used outside the Salesforce, because we are using, we will just what are with our legacy system, just subscribe to our events. So and whenever any data change happen, means whenever suppose a record is updated, and I want to send that notification to our legacy system, so that it will make changes in their system too according to the update. So what I will do, I will just create a platform event for the record updation. So whenever the record is update, it will create a platform event and broadcast the message, hey, that record is updated. So whoever with the legacy system subscribe to that event, so it will get the notification, and that system will make a request to the Salesforce server to get the get the details of the updated records, and make a two-way sync. Just like it will make a sync between Salesforce and the legacy system. So these kind of means whenever we have such kind of work that not in the whenever such kind of work that we have to we have to broadcast a message to all of the users. Means it's not about all of the user to, it's just a thing that just broadcast the message, and whoever the subscribe, it can be a user, it can be a third party system, it can be a legacy system, it can be anything. It can be or your local system, can be anything. It can be work on any technology. It can be on a Java. It can be a Node.js. It can be a PHP. It can be on Java. Means it doesn't matter. Means you just have to it just broadcast the event, and anyone at from any of the language or any of the platform can subscribe, have ability to subscribe that. Salesforce has predefined steps to subscribe a platform event. So anyone have the ability to subscribe that event, they can subscribe. And whenever the any data change occur or any update occur, it will send the notification that to the legacy system or any of the third party system. And inside the Salesforce too, means if we are subscribed from the Salesforce inside, just like we are subscribing, means this platform, this flow is subscribing with the platform event. So whenever the changes happen, this flow will execute. So that's a means this is the kind, means we are just subscribing the platform event, and platform event, once the change happen, it will notify all of the users. So whoever subscribe get the notification and perform the action what he has to do. So creation of platform event is quite similar to that, how we are creating an object. Yeah, here. Yeah, you remember this UI, you just know that uh, you know about this thing. So I will just be creating a notification. Yeah, and then we have a millions of events. Yeah, that's a high volume event, means we can, it can deliver millions of events at the same time. And we have a this thing, this is something like that, when publish after commit and publish immediately. That's the two thing. Publish after commit means that suppose I make changes on the record. Yeah, suppose I make changes on the record, and I updated some field, and means it's usually done with the triggers or Apex code. So we are usually using that thing to generate the event. So what it will be do, that usually it is done via that one. So what it will be do, that we just write a trigger or write Apex code in which we are sending a platform event a notification to we are generating the broadcast message to. So when it's happened, whenever it's happened, so what we have to do, because it's in the same transaction, means whenever we send a notification, either we make it as a transaction that when all the transaction completed, means when the database committed, fully committed, then we have to send the notification, or we have to send the notification immediately as soon as that code has executed to make a notification. So that's the difference, that when after the commitments, when database is fully committed, then we have to send this notification, or send the notification immediately, means whenever it's called to send the notification. And I hit the save. It's come up here. Yeah, and you can add fields over there. Why we are creating fields over here, means it's suppose whenever we are sending the notification, we also want the same uh, description or some details in that notification. Means suppose I'm just sending the notification, and it send the record ID of that on which record we are making changes. So for that, I will create a field and I will store that record ID in that field. So these kind of thing. Yeah, now the our notification complete, means this is how we are creating a platform event. And I'm not going to tell you that how we are sending a platform event, because it's a whenever we are discuss about the Apex part, then we will discuss about that, how the platform events are working, how we are sending a notification via platform event. That's a different part of thing. Here I'm just discussing about that, what is platform event and how we create a platform event. So platform events are just, as I told you, that it's a event that usually used to broadcasting a message, that message to all of the subscribers, or so whoever subscribe that event, it will get the notification. And if you want to send notification and also some details in the notification, so for that we need to create a fields. We can create a fields, and that field contains the notification, and that will field contains notification. So in this way, and I'm not going, we will discuss about that how we send the platform events, that's the latter part. And in the flow, we just have to for subscribing, we have to just choose that might be I need to refresh so that it will come up here.
So platform events, could it be like something whenever you have like discount for all the sellers? If you say like 20% discount, all the book sales will automatically apply this discount, kind of.
Yeah, you can see I just click on here and hit done. So it just subscribe with that event. So whenever that platform event occurs, what I will do up here, it will perform the same activity. Last one and the important one, okay, we will discuss after the break. the last one, the auto launch flow. That was the important one. So okay, come back after the break, after the 10 minutes. Okay. So platform events, you got the before that, if you guys have any questions or no? We discuss about three types of flow: record flow, schedule flow, and platform event trigger flow.
So far it's fine, I think.
Hmm?
So far it's good.
Yeah, it's just okay. Okay, then come back after 10 minutes. We will discuss about more about the flow. Okay, bye. Talk to you soon. Yeah. Hello, everyone. Hope you come back.
Right.
Let's our flow. The last flow, the important flow, auto launch. Okay, as I told that this is the flow. It's an important flow because it's this is can be executed from a Apex code from a process builder. Means whenever we need to execute a flow from a process builder, then suppose we have a situation that we process builder can't do some complex calculation. So at that time we just means suppose we design a process builder, it has doing some calculation and performing well, but due to some recent changes, that recent changes, it's not able to, means recent changes or updated in the sub updated changes in the requirement, it is not possible via that process builder. So what we can do that we just clone that process builder, create a new what are we the present in the criteria, just leave it as it is, and instead of processing in the calculation part, means in the action part, we just instead of doing what the process builder doing previously, we just call our flow, so that flow will handle the rest of the task. So let's have a look at how it's working. Means only and it is also possible that we can call a flow via Apex. Means Apex can pass the values to that flow, and flow will do that all the job. So that's the thing that also helpful. Means we just pass the value, or it can be also called from REST API, as it mentioned that. So whenever we have to call a flow from any system, that is from any of the system, because these are the events that are generated, that are automatic generated events. Means schedule trigger is a, means we are scheduling it, and it is happen to us sometime. Record edit record trigger flow means whenever the record is changes, and platform whenever the platform event changes. But this one, it can be executed, it's not dependent on the whenever the record is changes, whenever the platform event are changes, whenever the means it's not dependent on that. It's dependent on the thing is that whenever it's you whenever we have to call that flow, whenever we have to call that flow, at that time we use the auto launch flow. So let's have a look. I will hit the next, same thing. So it's the auto launch flow, and for that let's put some examples, so that by example we will learn. Are we able to create an example in this? Okay, let's I'm going to create a field called total cell, and it will do calculate all the total amount of that cell made, total amount of what will be that? It will calculate all the total amount into that whatever the books are sold by this person whose payment is confirmed at it will get calculated and roll up means show up here. Since I had we can also do the same thing via roll up summary, but since this in this situation this bookstore does not have master deal relationship with that selling object, so uh, we can't create a roll up summary over here. So we since this is the very and this is the live situation, means usually we got such kind of a situation that we don't have a master detail with the parent record and we have to do a roll up thing. We have to do some kind of roll up, means might be have to compress calculate some of the records or whatever these kind of things. Whenever we have to do these kind of things, means calculate the average or sum or count, whenever we have to do the such kind of thing, and we don't have a master detail relationship with the record. So let's have a look how we achieve this thing, because this is not possible in a process builder. Process builder cannot do the calculation on the child records. This is not possible on the process builder. So what I will do, I will achieve that thing via our flow. So let's have a look how we going to create that flow. And so for that so what I'm going to do, that whenever a new selling record is created, it will roll up the total amount value to this roll up the total amount value to the bookstore, whatever the total amount sold. So for that, let's create a field uh, in which I can see the total amount. Yeah, total purchased, total purchase. I will create a field called total purchase. And remember, usually we got a such situation that we have to whenever uh, we got a situation that we don't have a relationship, means master detail relationship with the object, and we need to do some kind of roll up. So at that time, other flow will help us too much. So that's why currency, and I'm doing the total purchase. So a field is created. Now I'm going back to my flow and designing the logic over up here. So this flow will auto start and start. So whenever I start, what are my criteria? That whenever selling record is got inserted, it will execute that thing. So whenever the selling record is inserted, I need that selling ID. Selling ID. So I need the when, or we can say that whenever the selling record is created, if I got that bookstore ID, so I can do calculation over the records. So what I will do, I will make this auto launch flow to get the means what it will need. It needs in order to calculate the total amount. I needs that on which we have to make a calculation. Means I need to make a calculation on Paul bookstore. So whenever I got the ID, I will got the ID of Paul bookstore. On the basis of ID, I will calculate all of the child of the records. Means I will get all of the child record via my get method, and all of the child records, or sorry, we have to only fetch the only whose payment is confirmed. So I will get all of the records whose payment is got confirmed. Let's make this one also get confirmed. So I will fetch out all the payments records which get confirmed, and do calculation on the related, do calculation on those. Means I will just sum up of all the records and then update the our bookstore value with the new field value, which is comes in the total price. And I'm not sure why it's not populating in this page layout. Might be after some time. So let's now it's coming up. So what will be the total purchase? It will come up here. So for that, what I'm going to do that, since I need the Paul bookstore ID, so I will create a variable to capture that Paul bookstore. So to capture the ID, so bookstore ID, it should be a data type of text, and no, I don't need any default value. I just make it available for input. So I will make it available for input. So whenever the flow will start, it will ask for the user to it will ask the add the bookstore ID. So I got the bookstore ID, and now I got the now my next task is to get all the payment confirmed selling records. So get and how it's captured. It's capturing the on the basis of bookstore ID. Now we get also in this case we don't have to only getting the first record. We have to get all the records. So I'm getting all the records, and I can also do a sorting, ascending or descending. It doesn't matter. Means no sorting really. And I will get all the automatically store all the fields in this API name. It will store all the fields, and let's change the API name to some smaller.
What about filtering confirmed ones?
Filtering confirm. Oh, sorry. Yeah, nice catch. So let's payment confirmed equals true. Yeah, that's also happen up here. So I will get all the records. It will store in the all selling records. Get all the payment selling records, and then okay, that's it. It will get me all the records. Now I need to calculation on the child records. Means I need to suppose I can might be get single records, might be get I will get two records, three records. I don't have a means we don't know that how many records comes in that in this number. So for that I will use a loop that will process on this collection of variable. So process on selling record. So yeah, I will take it first to last item. Now so first come up here, then it's come up here, and then it's come up here. So I will get the records. Now my loop is working on each of the process. Now what I will do that I need to store the total amount value. Means I need to sum up the total amount of value to some field. So for that, let's just like a programming. Means we are declaring a variable. We are working on the loop now. Whatever the total amount, it should be calculated in a some variable, so that I will use that variable in the final output. So I'm just declaring a variable. So that's a variable called total amount, and its data type will be currency, and its default value will be 0. So now I have to do the assignment. In the assignment, what I will do that let me think. Not here. I need to assign that total currency. Add means it can add the values of total amount. So it's come up here for each element. No. Yeah. For each element, it will execute this one, and then I need this will happen means for each element it will add up all the two and it will do the assignment, and then I need to update that parent record, which so I will use that update total. Mm. No, I need to record or collection. Okay, I need to create a record. Book seller record. So where is my bookseller? Sorry, bookstore. Actually, the update it's not working on the. It's working on the s objects, means it's working on the sum of the variables. So I'm just creating a variable to that will store the book bookstore object information. So for that, I will just create a variable having type of bookstore, and I hit the done. So and I need to also do the assignment. Whenever it will wrap up, I will do the assignment that assign values to book seller object. Okay, so we have a book. Sorry, again I added book. Yeah, book store object. So I will get the bookstore record and the ID of the record, which we get from the user, and then a total amount. I need to calculate the total purchase. So bookstore. Then we have a total purchase. Total purchase will equals to what we got the assignment from the assignment of that loop, and I hit the done. So I will just connect it here. So after the when the last item finished, means it will process for each item. It will do the add up, and when the last item finished, it will do the assignment that it will capture the ID that is start the flow, and it will also capture the total amount from here and assign it to. Now I'm going to update a record. So update book store. So where is that bookstore record? And I hit the done, and I connected this to this. Okay, and I hit the save. Let's do a debug. Debug on the beta. This is a new feature. I haven't seen that. Okay. Show query limits and all that. Okay, it's more descriptive. So let's I'm come up here. I just copying the ID and paste up here and run. So it executed successfully and total amount field will calculated. That is $79.98. Let's why it's not updating up here. Assignment found, but it's not updated the record. I think something happened. So it's come this one, this record comes up and thereafter it will not execute the next item. Now it's strange to me. Equals to true, and then successfully record found, and then we loop on this. We got 3 record IDs. That is also correct. And then current record is this, and then he will come up here. It will process and then stop. Now why it's got to stop? I think I just let him to call back. I think it's a call back to that thing. Let's put the record ID again and hit the run. Yeah, I forget to, that's the callback thing. I haven't add thing. So I just call back and it's calculating that amount and then it's do the update. Let's check it's updated over here or no. So I'm going to Paul Bookstore and it's showing that it's got updated. Yeah. If you calculate these 3 values, it's come up here and it got updated. So I just tested and everything is working fine. Now I'm just calling this auto launch flow via process builder. So for the process builder, let's go to the process builder. What it just let's create a new one. Leave it. CAL calculate total purchase. When the record is changed, okay, I come up here, I add the object when selling record is. When the selling record is created, then I will choose this and then what will be the criteria? No, it's not created, updated to, no, just let me create it then after. Created or updated. Someone make price confirm, then it will also get updated. updated. Check payment confirmed. Check payment confirmed. And I will check here that bookstore. First, I will check bookstore is not equals to null. Yeah, means bookstore it's not empty. Second, I will check that payment confirmed. It's true. Then it will execute. All conditions are in and then I will hit save. For in the action, here I choose the flow. And what is that name? I have activated or no? Let me activate. Thereafter it will come up here. What is the name? Update bookstore purchase. Yeah, now it's coming up. Okay. Now it's asking for that. What values I need to pass on. So I need to pass on the bookstore ID. You remember this is the same one as I declared up here. Where is my flow? Yeah, this one. Since it is available for input, that's why it's asking for to add that value, and from here I will add my using my field reference. I will add the store ID, means whatever the book store. I will add the book store ID, and book store ID is here. Bookstore underscore C. Now that, and I hit the save it, and then I just activate it. Okay, now I'm come up here and go and make any of the record. Suppose $80, this one. I just make it payment confirmed. Yeah, now it's added with some $80. Okay, so this is the way whenever we had to call a flow from a process builder, then we use the auto launch flow. The most usable flow it's auto launch flow. But this is the small example how I demonstrate that how to call a flow with an auto launch flow, and it's just a thing that, and whenever we have working on the auto launch flow, we have to work on the means using this variable declaration, because it does not have some, just like the screen flow have all the screen, and a screen that screen store all the values related to that object or field. But in the auto launch flow, we have to declare variables to store the values. Okay, so that's the thing. And we have also learned about how to use loops, just like a symbol that we just process on the loops, that it will work on the, yeah, it will work on the collection of the variable. Means collection of the variable can be anything, just like here I just get the all the records, all the related records, and it can be one or two or many more. So I just do, so at this moment, so this get collection, what will be the API name of this get record? It will collect the list of the records, and since I need to process on the list of the record one by one, so what I will do, I will choose the loop operation, and in the loop operation I will choose my collection variable, and then it is just a thing that from first item to last item, or it's just the order of that loop, either ascending or descending only. Okay, for that one it is going to be used. and then we just use the assignment operator to do the calculation. Suppose I need to do the add or subtract, whatever thing I need to do, I can add up or subtract up. And suppose I need to create a average, so I will create a, after the assignment means all I will also declare a variable to calculate the count, uh, and here I will create a formula field that will divide the total by count, means whatever that is the logic. We can build any of the logic, it's no issue. The thing is that the loop is working for each item. It will, whatever I will declare here I can design it more, make it, I can add more assignments over up here, and at the end of assignment I will rejoin the loop, so it will comes in a loop and do the process what I had to done. Once the loop finish, after the last item, it will execute our process, means it will do the assignment that for the bookstore object we need to add its id, because on the basis of id we can only on the basis of id or external id we can update the record. This is the point to be noted. That is that on the only on the basis of id or external id we can update the records. So here I'm choosing the id which I got on the starting of the flow via our variable which is available for input. So it's taking the id, and then I just from the assignment I create a object having id and total amount of total purchase amount, and then using the update record, because update records are not like just like a screen flow, or just are not just like get records or create records, because they have a capability to work on the object, but update record does not have capability to work on the screen object. It has only two things are available. We have to use the only variables for that. We can't use the any screen object for the updating the record. So that's why. So here I just come up here and I will whatever the values are present in my uh, variable, which is as object, I just put that variable and just hit done. We can also use the, suppose we have a list of records that I need to update, means suppose have a list of records that I need to update, that can also do, we can do up here. We can update the list of records at the same moment. So in this way we are just using the flow as, and then as auto since it's auto launch flow, so it can be called from the any of the process. And since it is I declare a variable that is available for input, it means that whenever the flow is called, it will ask for an input to a user, so that he will user or a user, not is the user, it will ask for the process who is calling that flow. Means if it is calling from a process builder, it will ask for the input. It will calling from an apex class, it will ask for the input. It will calling from the any rest api or any other services, it will ask for the input to to start the process. And there is a one more thing available for output. Available for output is when it's only available when the flow is finished. Then what I need to do with that output, suppose I need to pass the updated record id to some other place, so that kind of thing. So that's a, whenever you got the requirement, it's just not an issue, you will just do it. The most important thing, how we are doing in the logic part, that's the thing. So this is the brief overview, means from tomorrow to today, means we just discuss about all the what are the flows, how it's working, and what are the different flow triggering types. That is the important thing. What are the flow triggering type? Because we can do, suppose suppose this let me ask a question, that suppose this thing I don't want to use as an auto launch flow. I want to do is this will be automatically calculated without calling a process builder. Means I don't want to process builder, then what changes I will make in this flow? Anyone can answer? Suppose this flow is calling from a process builder. The requirement is that I don't want to use any process builder. This flow will automatically get called. So what should I do to here to make changes?
Like timely scheduled.
No, wrong. Timely schedule, it will not work. Means because we have a requirement, means whenever the record is inserted or updated, then we have to do that flow. And since that process builder got removed from our process, so how we capture that event
We
whenever
can
there is, yeah.
like event capture or something like that. One of them changes to the record, like new record created kind of thing.
uh, we will use this record trigger flow. It's this thing. Whenever the record is updated, it will do that thing. So we will use this kind of flow, means record trigger flow at this time. If we don't want to use the process builder and we need to capture the change, your also events can be also help in that. But events, it's not a thing that is work alone, means it is not a work. We need some other thing that will trigger that event, because the events are not triggering automatically. We need something that trigger that event. So that's why event is not a, it's a option, but it's not a good option. So we will choose that record trigger flow.
So this record triggered is the first thing we have done, like whenever record is updated or changed or created.
So that's the means process builder. You remember process builder only doing the same thing. Means whenever the record is edited or created, it will check for the who is payment is true or no, and call the call the flow. This thing we can, this checking, we are also doing the same thing in the flow. Means remember, we are also checking whenever we are fetching the record from get record method, we are also doing the same thing. We are capturing the record ID, and we also capturing the if the payment is true. So there is no issue, both are same. The only the thing is that we need to put some criteria over the process builder, because it's a good thing to putting some criteria before processing. So that's the thing. But yeah, whenever you if you use that, means so we can also say that this one has a limitation that it will call every time whenever you make changes. Or yeah, this thing we can, from here we can handle that. We can handle only we can add a condition that it will execute only when the payment is made true. Yeah, so that's the thing that we can handle up here. Means whenever the record is updated or created, means we can remove the process builder from up here. But it's a thing that we can remove the process builder, but we can remove the process builder and use the same thing via this one too. It's no issue. But you have to also learn about that, how the auto launch flow is working. So that's why I just use the example that how we call a flow from a process builder is through this way. We have to just in action we have to choose the flow, and then what are the variables that we have declared, we need to put the value in that, and then flow will execute it. The demerit is that it will execute the flow one by one. Suppose we have a bulk of records are updating, the process builder will execute the records one by one. That's a, yeah, that's a, I think it's a demerit. But it's okay. I mean, it's handled by the Salesforce. No issue in that. Okay, any questions? We have learned about the 4 different types of flow today.
Suraj, can you please explain the function of the loop in the auto launch flow?
This one?
Yeah.
Okay, for the loop to be function, first we have a collection of variables. So in this example, as a collection of variable, I use the our child records that we are getting from our bookstore. On the basis of bookstore, we are for the bookstore, each bookstore can have one single selling record, or can have a multiple selling records. So what I do that here, I just so there is a means I just fetch out all the child records in a variable, and since I chosen that all the records, so this will become a collection of variables. So whenever comes in a loop, it asks for the collection of variables. Means it does not include a single type of variable. It asks for the collection of variable, and collection of variable can be anything. It's a collection of the records, it's a collection of the number, it's a collection of a string. It doesn't matter, means it cannot be matter, means since I got the get records, by get records I get the collection of s objects. Yeah, we can say that it's a collection of s objects. We can, from here we can also create a element. So here suppose variable, and the data type, if I choose pick list and allow multiple values, so at that time it will also behave, this variable will also be behave as a collection of variable or any number. Suppose I choose the number and allow for multiple inputs, so I can add, this will also behave as a collection. Means it's just like we are declaring a set or a list, something like that. If you are familiar with the programming languages, it's just similar to that, we are declaring the set or list. So the for the loop to be executed, we need a collection of variable, means we need a list of records. That can be either a set of record, means we need a list of records, or list of strings, or list of integers, or list of anything. We need a collection of record. Then it will specify that in which direction we have to process the loop, meaning in which direction, either from in the ascending order or the descending order for this. So we can choose from here, and then the loop will execute, means we can add a assignment over up here. Means suppose this, we can add assignment. Yeah, we can add assignment. In the assignment, what I will do that, what are with the loop variable, since it will iterate for each item. Means whenever the loop comes up, it will iterate for each element comes one by one. It's not processed as a bulk of record. It will process each element comes in this what are with the loop going to be happen. Each element comes one by one. Once the element comes in, I will just take out its total amount and add that total amount to my total amount variable that I declared. So it will get added, and loop repeated itself one by one, one by one. And once the loop reached to the last item, and once the last item got finished, means after the last item, you can see this is the you can see this is after the last item finished, it will process the rest of the thing that is that was designed to process. And it can be, since it can be we are seeing that it can a single item, we can add a multiple item here too. We just have to just means I'm just showing that we can add the multiple items. We can also do the updation or deletion in the loop also. And suppose I just you can use also, okay, I just created an assignment for the demonstration. So it will come up from here, and then it will come up from here to here. So it will also create a loop. Yeah.
Right.
So what it will do, it will come up here, and then this to this, and then loop. So we can add as much element in this loop. We can add element in this loop, and once this loop will finish, it will go to the here. So what are the processing of this loop? I will store in a variable, and that variable will help me to pass the value from here to this assignment, and this assignment will store we will store means it will assign that stored variable to my s object. Means whatever the object I declare, and then it will just update the record. So the loop is only to iterate the collection of whatever the collection of the variable that we are declaring. It will just iterate one by one. It's only doing that thing, and and what will be the operation that we have to perform on the single element, we can do up here, we can add as much element up here and then call back that element to the loop again, so that it will iterate in a single loop. As remember that since I haven't make this call back, it doesn't I haven't make this call back, so it will iterate for a one item and stops at that position.
Right, right.
So
Remember.
yeah, remember that thing. So it has to be make callback, so that the loop will complete, else it will just behave like if you are familiar with the programming language, we declare the loop and then there is a break statement in the end of the loop, so it will run once and just break out from that position. It's quite similar to that. So I'm not so this is the thing, that loop is just to iterate a collection of variable one by one, and if you want to process on that each item, you will just have to just add the flow item, add the whatever with the flow item, that what you anything you want to do up here, just you can do up here, and that's it. And that's so you can each element you can do, and once the loop will finish all of the record, then it will execute the rest of the task.
Right, thank you.
Any more questions? No. Okay. Okay, then if you don't have a question, then we can then Merry Christmas.
You too, man. Happy Christmas.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas.
Take care, guys. Happy holiday.
Merry Christmas, guys. Thank you very much.
Merry Christmas and have a good.
Yeah, just yeah, and now I'm going to make means just complete all of the assignments and all those things, because most of the means we can say that 90% of the admin was completed. 90% of the admin is complete. Now we have some small points are remaining, just like uh, platform
Data
events,
load.
yeah, platform event, data loaders, and
Yes.
yeah, data management. Means only small points are remaining. That's quite theoretical. That's not a practical. That's quite theoretical. Most of the things are theoretical, just like I discussed about platform events, or I change data capture, or how the opportunities are working. These are kind of so theoretical. They're not practical. You just have to understand that what is happening, and what is the practical things are in the admin section are completed. Means now there is no practical things are remaining. Now the only the thing is that on the basis of that what we conclude, so that we apply that thing. So that's the thing remaining. So what I'm going to make to here, just wrap up everything. So we will discuss about only the theoretical parts. Now only the theoretical parts that you need to just have to understand and relate the things how it's working. So for that, before going to that, you have to just revise everything. What we can say that from the beginning, you can revise everything. So and it's an also good thing that you can, if you can revise everything, you will learn more than because when we read anything twice, we get more than in that. So that's the thing. We have a long weekend, and we will just utilize, you can utilize this weekend for fruitful thing. So just utilize it. After that, once the weekend is wrap up, then we have a tough situation comes up because at that time we will discuss about that our what we are going to do, that how we are going to paper, how we are going to give the examination, and these all things that we will discuss.
Yine
at that
sorun
time.
ilgili koymuş.
Hmm?
Oh, sorry.
Okay, so that's the thing we will discuss. So before that, before going to that step, I just want you guys just prepare everything. Just if you're not able to do the practical, just remember everything. What's the theoretical, why this is happening, means why we are designing process builder, why, what is OWD, what is the record sharing, what is profile permission. You have to just make yourself means your concept should be clear in all of those things. Means all the concept will you have to clear about that. What is that, what, why we are doing this thing. So that's the important. And after that, from here we'll just have some few topics are remaining, that is mostly they are theoretical, they are not so much practical in that. You just have to know that why this is it, that's nothing else. Okay, so
So, Suraj, you're suggesting just to practice over the assignment over the weekend to get
yeah,
refresh everything that we learned?
yeah, you can practice the assignments, you can review the lectures, you can just complete your modules, anything if you want to do that.
Okay.
You can do anything, means just make more cell or just review all we have learned. I think it's a 1 month that we have separate, means you have a lots of things that you have to memorize or review all the videos, all the lecture videos, just review that lecture videos, that are also will help you.
All right.
That is also a point that and just once we come up in the morning, I need you guys to ask some questions. There will be so many questions. If you can ask more questions, then I think that you are learning good. Means you have to ask question on the Monday as much as you can. Yeah, so that is also a good thing if you ask questions, else I will ask the question.
So the Q&A session, it's first half an hour, right? Like 8 to 8, I mean, like in Eastern time, half an hour
Yeah.
before the session. Something like
Training, I'm not getting a question.
the question Q&A session.
No, Q&A session, we will on the Monday we will do Q&A session for a long, means for 2 hour, for
Okay.
2 hours. Okay.
Right.
We will do lots of QA sessions in that on the more. I will, because I will ask questions, we will discuss about what we have learned.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, because we don't have so many things are in our remaining to complete in the admin. There's now that there are only the theoretical things are remaining. Only just you have to just you can easily do the Google and get the points. Hey, this is the doing that thing. No issue in that. Only simpler things are remaining. Most of the thing that is the base of that admin, it's completed. Means what will be the base of that admin? It's completed. After the flow, it's got completed. Only few points are remaining. That most of the things are theoretical, and one is practical are remaining. That is the data uploading. Means when we have a admin got a requirement to upload a large amount of data. When we admin have a, since recently we just work on the single data, single records or single, means we just have to come up here and create a single record. Yeah, so the thing is remaining that when admin has an option or has a thing that he has to work on the large data set, so that is pending. Apart from that, nothing is more complex as pending. So that's the thing. Okay. So happy holiday.
Go away.
You too.
Thank you.
Merry Christmas.
Bye. Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
Bye.